Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 4 of Cell Bowl Season 2. We are past halftime. I just got off the field. So I'm wearing my Cell Bowl jersey with medical lab lead Gill and my number here. We were relying on Aaron to coach us through. So I just got off the field and we're ready to get started. This week we are talking about granulocytes and abnormalities within them. So for any of you who have just joined us for the first time, Cell Bowl is an NFL style hematology competition where MLT and MLS students across the nation of the United States of America are competing to use the CellAVision, CellAtlas, CellQuiz app, the quiz part of the app, in order to identify 30 hematology cells correctly in 1 minute. And so all of these scores that you see are these students trying to do that as quickly and accurately as they can. So joining me again, like every week, I've got Aaron de Endzone Odegaard, my wonderful co-host. And today we have joining us as our famed and returning guest from the bench, we have Kathryn Golab.
Golab, she's amazing.
Aaron, can you introduce us a little bit to our repeating and returning guest here?
Definitely. Yeah. So our guest from the bench, Kathryn Golab, is a DCLS student. She's the now chair of the ASCP social media committee. She does all sorts of writing, a strong advocate for the lab, education. She does it all. I'm very proud to have her with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. I'm glad to be here and I'm glad to be back. I had so much fun last year. I couldn't say no to coming back this year. It's an absolute joy.
You did. You had to come back again.
Yes, we're so happy and that you're back. And when we were at the annual meeting together, I made sure to say, hey, I wanted to talk about the thing that we talked about last year that we didn't get to. So can you come back? I would love to have you on. And she's like, absolutely. So here she is, and we are so happy to have her. I look ridiculous. This is hilarious. Okay, so
Coach Gill, I'm glad you made it through the morning run. It seemed like it was kind of tough. Lots of diffs. So
yeah.
Glad you made it back.
I got a little octopus stuck to me. This is Media Lab. So if you all are interested in learning more about the lab and engaging with the different kind of questions that you may see within the profession, go ahead and check out Media Lab. Woo!
Always a surprise with Coach Gill.
Not actually our sponsor, but one of the different software that we use. So thank you to all of them. ASCP is our gold sponsor, and we have wonderful website coverage, and CellAVision, the CellAVision, CellAtlas app, they are supplying some wonderful gifts for us this year, and they are one of our other sponsors. So thank you all for helping us to move forward with teaching everybody about the lab and engaging in hematology in a fun way. So let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. All right. Okay, so just so you know, you can buy your jersey. Aaron, can you show your shirt too?
Oh yeah,
it disappeared. Last year's Cell Bowl competition, we both had our teams in the top 25. They made it on the shirt. And that's what he's wearing today. if you want to look at the different kinds of lab swag that we have in the store, you can go using this QR code. And this is one of our new type of lab swag for the Cell Bowl. Just a minute, I'm cell bowling. And we've got a very active and excited monocyte chasing down the target cell wide receiver on the other team. So we got a lineman coming after a wide receiver here with a little football. So if you're looking for that one, the web link is funny because it says just a Cell Bowl minute.
That's right. He's right on target too.
Yeah. And of course, everything is connected. Pathology is the department and the field that we're working in. And the lab includes also some wonderful treatments by the blood bank. And so this is a blood banking shirt, and it's locating antigen negative blood units. So if you can't remember why you're doing blood banking and what you're looking for, students, this will help you remember. All right. So we've got some amazing programs again this week. Coming in from the East happens to be a lovely program from Southern Maryland.
Who the
Hey!
program director is.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard she's pretty cool.
I've heard good things.
So the College of Southern Maryland team is shown right here. We've got the description, and then here is the website. So I'm going to zoom in real quick. So these individuals may look a little familiar, especially to me. I see them every week. So this is my lovely Cell Bowl team. And the College of Southern Maryland's medical laboratory technology program is the only one of its kind in Southern Maryland. It's true. We are serving several different counties, including Calvert, Charles, and St. Mary's County. We even have a PG Prince George's County agreement where they start off at Prince George's Community College and then come down to the College of Southern Maryland in order to finish their degree. It is an Associates of Applied Science degree. Students learn from globally influential faculty. Gee, I don't know who that is. Attend clinical rotations in a variety of laboratory settings, participate in collaborative experiences with other health programs. That's true. We have collaborative educational scenarios with nursing and pharmacy, and I'm trying to expand that. And it's to teach each program how we work together in the healthcare team, and when would we see each other and hear from each other, and when do we seek out each other for their expertise to help with what we're doing. We serve the community through blood drives. We are very prominent with blood drives in the American Red Cross, and build the professional network through top leaders in the industry through engagement on social media. Last year we did, this past lab week, which is earlier in the year, we did some tutorials where students across the nation were coming together, including my students and Madison and Loyola, and some other institutions were participating as well, where students were getting onto Twitter and making tutorials about information they found exciting and engaging with a broader community, and teaching about a topic that they were covering in the semester. So we also had them tag us, and we expanded their professional network by introducing them to leaders in the field like Kathryn and Aaron and some other people that you have met on Cell Bowl, and others that are also connected with us. First year courses are on campus 2 days a week, while the second year students attend clinical rotation 2 days a week, and then class 1 day a week on site or online. Local hospitals help support our students through sponsorship and scholarships. And my Zoom bar is in the way now. The program has a partnership with these hospitals for them to hold positions in the laboratory. So while they're students, they can have a job and also get immersed into the culture to learn, you know, with what they're doing in class and relate it to the field. We have the possibility of having them be phlebotomists as well. The program has a 100% pass rate for the ASCP Board of Certification exam. Thank you, for 9 out of the 10 years. And that means we had one student, one graduate who has not passed the entire time. That's it. Everybody has passed the ASCP exam first time. Each time. And
Wow.
so, yeah, it's been really amazing. I am so proud of our graduates, and so are our clinical affiliates and their employers. We get a lot of wonderful feedback, and that doesn't even just mean in the state of Maryland. I've heard some amazing things from our graduates who have gone all over the country. So we serve a lot of military families as well, because we have a base that's right next to us. So you know, we have a really great diverse student population and reach within the community.
Wow.
Right.
How do I find out more about this amazing program director in school?
Well, if you'd like to learn more, you can go to the website. You can search College of Southern Maryland MLT program on Google, and it will direct you to this website if you don't remember what it is.
Nice.
Thank you. So we do have a lot of partnerships with other programs throughout the country, online MLT to MLS programs, but we also do cultivate our own within the state of Maryland and have articulation agreements with those within the state as well. And we all try to support each other. And Morgan State University happens to be one of those other degree programs within the state of Maryland. And here is their team. They are a MLS program in the state of Maryland. It's the oldest allied health program at Morgan State University, their MLS program, their medical laboratory science program. So check them out. They definitely deliver, and go Maryland.
It's a pretty good state.
We are the only two Maryland programs competing in this year's competition, and you'll see how we fared soon within these slides. But we did have a partner also, George Washington University from DC. So we count them, you know, as being a home program as well, because we surround them.
You guys are pretty close, yeah.
We're very close.
Yep.
So then we're heading out to some place that I think that our guest might want to cover.
I think so.
So going to Madison College.
Mm-hmm.
Woo woo, go Wisconsin. All right. She, by the way, their medical laboratory technician program director is very supportive of all the stuff and very active on social media.
Is that Leah?
Yes, she's amazing.
I was with Leah yesterday. If I would have known that you were shouting her out today, I would have mentioned it to her. So,
I think she knows because she's always on and looking at all of our stuff, but her students were very, very active in the tutorials that we did for Lab Week. And I kind of expect that they will be again. So look out for Madison College. They're incredible and amazing. All right, you can go ahead. I'm done.
Yes.
Yeah, so Madison College is in the Madison area. So that's state capital, central Wisconsin. And Leah Narns, I know her as the program director. She's on the ASCLS Wisconsin Board of Directors with me. She is super active and she is super involved with the profession. And I am not surprised that her students are doing this well in the Cell Bowl, because they are just so involved and active and want to learn as much as they can. The technical college is a traditional 2-year program, and it combines fundamental laboratory techniques and clinical experience and prepares them to graduate in the laboratory in our healthcare sector, they have 100% job placement out of all their students from the Madison Area Technical College. So they do really well in graduating their students for one, and two, getting job immediately afterwards. Medical laboratory technicians are integral part of the healthcare system. They also work with some of our state programs as well to do some bridging. So if someone comes from the Madison Area Technical College, unfortunately, we don't have a 4-year medical laboratory science degree in the Madison area anymore, but they do usually bridge over if they want to bridge in some of our other programs elsewhere in the state. So the Madison Area Technical College is great. Love them. Go Wisconsin.
I think you might find that theme throughout these couple of slides, because you all had some representation from your state.
All right.
All right. So we are back in the East, and Old Dominion University. We've been hearing a lot from their team, seeing a lot of great stuff happening. Look at them. They look amazing, and they're doing a great job.
You're an awesome group.
Yes, and they're in Virginia. Aaron, did you want to take them?
Sure. Yeah, so it's wonderful students, Old Dominion University. It's a medical laboratory science program, one of the oldest health science programs at Old Dominion University. So that's something we need to really celebrate.
Mhm.
Their class sizes range from 12 to 20 students, which allows a one-on-one direct learning style. And their program offers an MLT to MLS completion program online as well. So you can get the certifications and everything through multiple platforms. It's a great program.
So we have graduates that have entertained going there as well, and have been working with them. I showed you all last time that I do have swag from their school. Oh, you can't see it, but they sent me a care package, and I'm like, absolutely, let's talk. So yeah, we're very closely related there too. You're gonna see the Delmarva area covered this week, and that's very exciting because I consider all of those my peeps.
Yes, thank you for sharing with me. I know you feel strongly about all these schools.
Oh yes, I do. So if you want to also do Radford, you can feel free. Look at how many students are in all these programs. I am super jealous. They have a lot of great turnout here. I don't know how this is going to work out with our closed captioning, so I will try my best in order to make it so that you can see very well. But we are zooming in.
Yeah, so Radford University. So it's an MLS program at Radford. It prepares students for a variety of medical, research, veterinarian, and reference laboratories. So you can work in all sorts of fields. So it's great that they're giving them all sorts of options. Their graduates have 100% job placement rate and are sought out nationwide. So speaks to their program. And then students experience a blend of traditional lectures, laboratories, simulations, exercises, and that prepares them to not only for their clinical rotations, but also for employment in our medical laboratory science field, which we need solid, great people. And their clinical partners include a variety of clinical settings, hospital-wise, and specialty rotations. So while engaged in clinical rotations, students are supervised by certified laboratory professionals and achieve entry-level competencies across each facet of the clinical laboratory. So the medical laboratory,
NACL's accredited.
Is NACL's, which is extremely important and says a lot because NACL's requires a lot from to be accredited by them. So this is an amazing program. And then if you want to learn more about Radford University, there's the link to find their program. So if you're in the area
in Virginia,
you got lots of great options.
Sorry about all that movement. We got a lot going on the screen. All right. So hopefully all of the faces are out of the way when we're coming in and showing all that. Kathryn, you're up again. Woo!
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So our next program, amazing state of Wisconsin, is Moraine Park Technical College. Again, it's another college, not necessarily in the southern portion of Wisconsin, but it's one of our more rural technical colleges. And their MLT program is a 2-year associate degree with small class sizes that really promotes one-on-one learning activities. We know medical laboratory science programs are difficult. All 3 of us have gone through them. All 3 of us teach at them. So we know it's hard material to learn. So having one-on-one learning opportunities is a huge part of, this program, because it ensures that you're getting the attention that you need if you are struggling with particular subjects. The faculty also has current laboratory experience to share with students. The longer you're in the field, and sometimes the longer you get out of the field when you're teaching, that limits your knowledge because things are constantly changing. We'll even talk about that when we talk about granulocytes later today. Everything is changing. You want to make sure that you have current knowledge. And they have 100% pass rate for the BOC for the last 10 years. So they're right up there with the University of Southern Maryland. So
yeah, I was like, I don't know. Did I put that in there wrong? Because it sounds very much like mine. So we are all doing amazing stuff here. So
Yes.
A lot of good programs.
Yeah, we've got Wisconsin, we've got Maryland, we've got Virginia. Go us. And now we are headed back to the east, back to Virginia for everybody's favorite pathologist and previous past ASCP president.
VCU.
Yeah, VCU. She came from there. Dr. Sanford, she's amazing and wonderful, and we all love her. So VCU's team is right here, and they are doing incredible as well. Our graduates go to them also, and they have a really, really great program. So they have an online program. I'm not reading this yet, but they have an online program and an on-site program, and both of them are of equal quality, and they produce really, really great graduates. So Virginia Commonwealth University, also known as VCU, offers both undergraduate and graduate programs in medical laboratory science. Their mission is to serve the healthcare needs of the community by providing highly competent and professional medical laboratory scientists who will be able to function effectively upon entrance into the field and be prepared to explore future scientific and technical advances in the laboratories, in laboratory science. Just like Kathryn was saying, we're constantly advancing. I think we're one of the most rapidly advancing fields in medicine, aren't we? It's just,
I would definitely agree.
yeah.
It's constantly changing and growing.
The mission of the graduate program is to provide the student with advanced theoretical and technical education and prepare students to assume roles as laboratory supervisors, educators, and researchers. Woo! Undergraduate students also have the opportunity to apply for the accelerated route of BS, so Bachelor of Science, to MS, Masters of Science. So you can't go wrong with VCU. All right. So if you are in Virginia or you're online from anywhere in the country, feel free to check them out because they do great work. We are heading now way up into Vermont. Oh my goodness.
This is the coldest I'll ever get.
Yeah, you're gonna see that some of these slides are jam-packed, so that's why we're covering up some states. Nothing against anybody in the Midwest or the West. We're just trying to fit all the information here. And we have closed captioning, so this is gonna be nuts. All right, so we're going over to Vermont. Aaron, do you want to be?
Yes.
Okay,
From
I will try
Florida.
my best
I
again.
am proud to. Yeah, you're good.
Up in
My
Vermont.
closed captioning is hidden for the moment.
Okay. We've got their beautiful, lovely, smiling, happy faces in the lab. They've got a nice lab here.
They do.
And
Look at all
they've
this.
got, yeah, they've got the alterations to WBC morphology and different disease conditions happening. Perfect for today. So.
Yeah, no, I'm taking notes. That lab looks really nice.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So from Florida, I get to talk about the University of Vermont. So these guys are pretty awesome. So the University of Vermont offers the only medical laboratory science BS, MS, and certificate program in the entire state of Vermont. The only one.
The only one. They're
the
number
only
one in Vermont.
They are, and look at all the stuff they're doing. 100% job placement upon graduation, which speaks a lot to their program. Additionally, students who opt to continue their education are prepared for graduate and professional programs. At UVM, students complete an integrated 4-year curriculum and can choose between 2 concentrations, medical laboratory science or public health laboratory science. And public health is really important. All students experience an entire semester in one of their clinical or public health labs affiliated with their students and provide them knowledge. The program has been recently awarded the maximum 10-year accreditation, which I learned, amazing, very hard to get, very proud, that's impressive. They have a 91% pass rate on the BOC, and they're supported by international renowned biomedical research faculty, ASCP certified clinical faculty and lecturers. The MLS program resides within the academic health center consisting of nursing and health sciences. So it's a nice, safe place to be to continue on. And then you might be asking, why UVM? So some of the responses include awesome faculty, ability to work with real patient samples, the tight-knit community, and then even the outdoor recreation that's offered in the warmer months and maybe some colder parts.
Cell bowl.
And the cell bowl, yeah,
outside.
exactly. So, and the support of the faculty. So the faculty is pretty amazing with all the stuff that they're doing. So if you want to learn more about their program, Coach Gill will list the website, so you can, if you're in the area and you want to learn more about, keep learning, it's right there.
Boom, there it is.
Yep. Awesome job, awesome program.
So they are attached to Trauma One Center, which is not always something that you get at these different programs. So check them out, especially if you live up there. They're the only one, and you'll be number 1 too.
You will.
All right, Kathryn, we are back in Wisconsin. Whoop, whoop. And I just have to point out this amazing artwork in the background before.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's
fabulous.
gorgeous. I'm a little envious. Look how beautiful that is. And this looks like a student sitting area. I like their school. I've only seen one picture and I love it.
And say, yeah, let's get to it. So Northeastern Wisconsin Technical College is an MLT program that's associated, that's located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So for those of you who know the hand, I should probably use this hand because my video is flipped.
Jeez.
It's this part of the state right here.
Oh,
so it's located right up by the thumb, is where Green Bay is centrally located. Not centrally, but midway up the state. Provides them with an exceptional educational experience and individuals interested in medical laboratory science in Northeastern Wisconsin and the UP. We get a lot of people who potentially come in from the UP of Michigan to that area just because they are so close. Students learn through collaboration with faculty, laboratory professionals, and their classmates in their newly remodeled on-campus laboratories. So that's probably where that mural is. It's in their newly remodeled lab. They have a 16-student program, so that's a lot of students for a medical laboratory technology program. So we're really excited that they have large class sizes like that. And they progress as a cohort, promoting low student to instructor ratios. So again, we have a lot of instructors to a lot of students. You get that one-on-one help that you can potentially need throughout these programs. The courses are offered using 8-week Advantage, which allows students to focus on 2 to 3 classes at a week increments, which allows additional flexibility for work and family life and increases student success at this university. Coursework culminates with a clinical experience where students hone in their skills at hospitals and clinics located throughout the thumb of the state of Wisconsin in that Door County, Green Bay area. Exactly. NWTC MLT program is a great place to follow your passion while exploring the wonders of Northeast Wisconsin and cheering on our football team. Go Pack, go. Our record is not that great this year, but go Pack.
So I think even their team is named the Pack. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So if I get that wrong, I'm sorry. But I have seen that in team names. And we will see that maybe later. So
Yeah, a lot of pride for
yeah,
the Packers.
lots of pride. We have family that used to live in Wisconsin, so we are Wisconsin proud. All right, so now we are headed over dun 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 to West Virginia. That's where Rob's family's from. So we are West Virginia family, and they've got some really great stuff going on here. I love their enthusiasm. So this is the second team to ever participate in the Cell Bowl outside of our Super Cell Bowl winners last year. So they're putting the pressure on their friends and causing a little bit of a state upheaval.
Healthy competition.
Yeah, healthy competition. Loving it. All right, so here they are a fun-loving group. They've got some beautiful peripheral blood smear pictures here, and the Medical Laboratory Technology Program provides education and training for students to become medical laboratory technicians, also known as MLTs. They perform a variety of laboratory tests in blood banking, chemistry, hematology, immunology, microbiology, and urinalysis.
They do it all.
They do it all. The 2-year Medical Laboratory Technology Program is nationally accredited by NACLS. Woo woo. Aaron and I were in a workshop the other day, having fun, learning more about the accreditation process.
Very exciting.
Yeah, woo.
A little scary, but very exciting. There's a support group for that.
Yes, there is a support group for that. Thank you, Candace Grayson. In addition to offering a general studies and laboratory-based general science curriculum, the program is also designed to provide students with 42, count them, 42 credits, credit hours of required MLT clinical lecture and laboratory courses, which are integrated with a hospital or clinic-based practical experience. So boom, you want to go there. However, I'm sure that somebody else in West Virginia might have something to say about that. So we've got Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College, and those are their wonderful competitors from the great state of West Virginia. And we've got some zooming in we got to do. So they're also from West Virginia. You can see that they're wearing their CellAVision t-shirts from last year that their program director had made because she was so proud of them. So they're outside of their beautiful institution. Aaron, do you want to jump in again?
For this team, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to do my best to work with you on this. Okay.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. But very proud, our reigning Cell Bowl 2021 first ever champions, who I will never forget their program director saying, a cell is a cell. Everyone should be able to do it.
Yep.
And hers, no matter what part they are. So amazing program director. So they are the current reigning champs.
Woo!
At Southern Western Virginia Community and Technical College. They do offer an associate's degree for their program. They serve Southern West Virginia, Kentucky, and the surrounding area. Southern is dedicated to providing accessible, affordable training, education, quality education that promotes success for those we serve. So it's got to be affordable, and that's great that they're doing that. Their MLT program offers the very best opportunity to pursue your educational and employment goals in the medical field. That's important and rewarding. And then the program consists of 22 months along and offers appropriate and opportunities to learn from highly qualified faculty and attend clinical rotations at medical facilities throughout the area. So graduates are highly recruited and sought after to fill positions area-wide, especially being Cell Bowl super champions.
Mhm.
They have 100% job placement for all their graduates, which is
Mhm.
amazing, which is seen year after year. So it just says how great of a job they're doing and how smart their students are. They provide opportunities for scholarships, tuition assistance, and Tiffany scrolls down a little more
I can't
stuff.
go any further.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
So
That's okay.
educational, do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Educational grants and many other forms of assistance are abundantly available for those interested in their program. So if you're looking for a college that puts students first, boom, 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 Southern is the place for you.
Yes.
All right.
The home of the Gill Trophy right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So heading back over. Whoops. If I move anything, then my animation stops. So now we're over to the other W type of state in our in our United States. We've got Casper College, and
Mhm.
they didn't even stop class to start with Cell Bowl. They just kept it moving,
Yeah.
and
When
that's
you
how
get the diffs,
serious
you
they
got to get
are.
those diffs out
You got to get them in no matter what is going on.
with
So
high quality.
Kathryn, you are our leader of the W states. So if you'd like to continue, that would be lovely.
Of course. Casper College is located in the beautiful town. Is that supposed to be Casper, Wyoming? Or is that Caper, Wyoming? Because S and A are
Yeah,
You're
they're
right.
right next to each other. I think that's a typo. So
Mhm.
that's
Casper,
probably
Wyoming.
Casper. Sorry.
When you choose Casper as your city of choice, you have the breathtaking mountains to the south and a short drive to the lake west of town.
Woo.
It is the primary mission of Casper College Medical Laboratories Technician Program is student success and growth as technical professionals in the clinical laboratory science. The program emphasizes technical competence and proficiency skills in areas of clinical laboratory, as specified by national certifying agencies and employment practices. This program provides a career laddering approach in curriculum design and educational experiences to expedite student learning, comprehension, mastery, and entry into the healthcare professions. So this sounds like a great program for those of you out in Wyoming who want to get into medical laboratory science.
I agree. Go there. They sound wonderful. They're very engaging. I mean, look at the students' faces. They're very happy with what's happening, and they've got a lot of support by their faculty members and staff. So definitely reach out to them and check out their program. All right. So Aaron and Kathryn, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready to Cell Bowl.
It's
What are we
always
gonna
a
do?
blast.
Yes, we're gonna have a blast.
Oh my gosh. So we
Engulf
have
the competition.
what?
We're gonna engulf the competition.
We are just
Yes.
you know,
Get a little-
phagocytosis is a
little
big
itchy.
warm hug that
Yeah.
ends in disaster.
Mhm.
So
The dangers.
it's a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. So let's talk about who we saw competing this week. So as we said, we're in week 4. Don't look at anything.
Look away, look away.
Yeah, look away. So out of our entire all of the programs that participated this week, we had 76% that were perfect scores.
You were in that much shock.
I was in so much
Speechless.
shock, I almost fell out of my chair. All right.
Ah.
I almost got hit by that monocyte. So here we've got 24% of students, student teams had a score that was less than 30 cells. And that was where I was in. So my program team is so rare. We're 24% of the competition, and we are leading the way in the non-perfect scorers, but still like so close. It's always so close to that perfect score. And many of you are so close to breaking the time record or already have. It's insane. I cannot believe how amazing you all are doing. And I'm scared to even try the app anymore because
Yes.
you all are blowing us out of the water here.
I'm surprised you haven't broken the app.
Yeah, CellAVision, the Cell Atlas app, people might have to change the app so that I don't know, you're breaking the
Yeah.
internet with these scores.
Bring them in for the beta testing.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
insane. Okay, so we've got the West, we've got the Midwest, and we've got the East. All right, I'm gonna
East.
zoom in again. All right, so in the West, we've got leading the pack with less than 30 seconds to identify all 30 cells. Insane. Is California State University, Los Angeles, LA, City of Angels, followed by their friends in the California State, where they are the Irvine CLS training program for the University of California, and they are trailing them only by like 10 seconds. Then we've got Eisenhower Medical University in California again, and they just missed that 30-second mark, just over it, just right there. And look how tightly packed these teams are. We've got
Mhm.
California State University, Dominguez Hills, those people that were out in the hills, that lovely picture I remember from one of our spotlights. They're coming in at 32.97 seconds, and they're followed by the University of Alaska, Anchorage, with a time of 65. So they're helping us lead the pack of the non-perfect scorers. We are in great company over here. And then we have the other teams. So you're going to see a lot of, or not a lot, but several 90s on here. A lot of these programs have pulled out of the competition for one reason or the other, and that's why they're not competing. But I don't want to do a disservice to all of us with messing up the data with the amount of programs that participated or the programs that signed up. So I'm continuing to put you on there, even though you have decided to escape the competition. All right, Kathryn, if you can help us out with the Midwest, I
Yeah.
think you're very qualified for this.
Mhm. Of course. So leading the way in the Midwest, Montana State University from Montana, they're breaking records over here. They are down to 23.69 seconds. That is absolutely amazing. I don't know if I could do that, honestly, myself. That is
Yeah.
awesome. Then following in close behind, Southeast Community College in Nebraska, 24.4 seconds. And then literally less than half a second behind is Houston Methodist Medical Laboratory Science Program in Texas, 24.82. These programs are about a second apart. That's
insane.
it. That is absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. Following up to Illinois universities, Northern Illinois, at 25.79 seconds. And my good friends at Loyola, Constantine was here last week from Loyola. They're at 26.07 seconds. Finally, Wisconsin's coming in at spot 6 and 7, Moraine Park Technical College, 30.21, and Northeast Wisconsin Technical College at 30.68. Wisconsin, I know we can pull this off. We had a school in the top 3 last year, I do believe. We can do it. We're going to keep pulling it off.
Yeah. Wisconsin's really representing. So keep it
are.
up.
Up next, UT San Antonio, Texas, 31.5 seconds.
Wow.
Otero College from Colorado, 32.66. Back to Nebraska, Central Community College, Grand Island in Nebraska, 32.97 seconds. Our first Minnesota group, Lake Superior College.
Woo.
They're coming in hot.
Man, don't you
Superior is
know?
cold. It is a cold part of the state, cold part of the country, but they're coming in hot, 34.84 seconds. Next is St. Francis Health System, 35.99 seconds. Again,
Incredible.
I have a friend at Hennepin Healthcare, Minnesota, 36.47 seconds. You guys are doing great. Back to
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska again, Mid Plains Community College, 38.37. Next up, my friend Leah, Madison College, Wisconsin, 43.09 seconds. You guys are doing awesome.
Incredible numbers. This is
Yep.
insane. I mean,
So
we're
this
all the way down
Midwest-
to number 15 and it's still below
And
45 seconds. What?
still, yeah.
Oh my gosh. University of Louisiana, Monroe, 51.04 seconds. University of Arkansas is next for medical sciences, 54.25. Next is Ozarks Technical Community College, Missouri, 54.45 seconds. Back to
Wow.
Oklahoma again, Mercy Hospital MLS program, 55 points.
Man.
And Rush
All-
University in Illinois, again, 58.94 seconds.
Yep. All these teams are proliferating right out of the gate,
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
right out the marrow.
Rush
Crazy.
was right under that 59-second window.
Mhm.
Well, actually just over the 58-second window. I can't believe this. And that's up to the top 20 were all perfect scores and insanely great times, by the way. And
Mhm.
then, you know, you're seeing a tightly packed diff down here.
Yeah.
You know, they're so close down here as well. You all are doing incredible. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just astonished at the amazing
yeah.
progress here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You can keep going if you'd like.
Okay.
21. Listen.
No
Yeah.
teams in the Midwest left behind.
Coming
That's
in next, Texas, Grayson College. Then following them from Minnesota, St. Paul College at 63 seconds.
Mhm.
Next up from Iowa, Mercy College of Health Science. Our
Ooh.
entry from Kansas, Wichita
Woo.
State University. Again from Illinois, Frontier Community College at 66. They're tied with Wichita State.
Mhm.
University of South Dakota State University, and the University of Illinois Springfield are tied at 67 seconds.
Woo.
Up next, again from Kansas, Coffeyville Community College, Central Texas College, Louisiana State University, and Casper College are all at 90 seconds.
Yep. So they some of those pulled out as well. We're still proud to have you on our board.
Mhm.
You're not leaving.
Nope.
No, you're not.
All right. So, Aaron,
All
This-
right.
this is insane too. Like, I don't understand what is happening. So
I don't either.
I
don't
feel
either.
like everybody came out of Coffeyville because it's like they're super hyper on this app. Look at
Mhm.
these times.
Yeah, they're
22
just shifting
seconds.
left, shifting right.
That's
Shifting
crazy.
everywhere. All right, if you want to
All
do
those
the
cells.
honors, I'll let you because I don't think I can stand it.
I do. I know you're all the anticipation. Man. Okay, so out of the East, leading the diff is University of Connecticut, UConn at 22.18. And trailing close behind our current reigning Cell Bowl champs at Southern Western University Community and Technical College at 23.02. I'm
Wow.
wondering if these people, you guys are robots. It's crazy, but high quality because you're getting perfect scores. Number 3 in the East is our University of Cincinnati, Ohio at 24.82.
Woo!
And then close behind them, just a couple seconds off, is Marin Technical College of Ohio. The Ohio Hematologies are leading 3 and 4. Not
Yeah.
to be forgotten is Hillsborough Community College.
They're in an Ohio sandwich.
Mhm.
Yep, Florida representing. Great job, Trippett. And you guys, very proud of you guys. I guest lecture there. You guys are amazing. Keep it up. Number 6 is Clark State College of Ohio. That Ohio sandwich at 28.23.
Woo!
Then Centenarian University in New Jersey, don't forget about them at 28.78. And then right along in the lineage, leading at 8 is Michigan Technical University at 28.83.
Woo!
Then still holding on in the top 10 is our AB Technical College in North Carolina at 28.97. And rounding out the top 10 is Wayne Wright State University, Ohio. Don't know
Another
what-
Ohioan.
Ohio, yeah,
It's
at 28. 9.697.
Ohioans are scoring very highly.
Very
I'm just they're all under 30 seconds. How is this happening?
I
They're all under
know.
30 seconds in the
I just
top
don't
10.
know.
I think
They're-
they're eating their Wheaties in the morning.
Yep. They're good
What's
at
up
making
with
those
your
diffs and finding that
exercising?
feathered edge. like that. So it's number 11, Mercer
Yes,
County
sir. Woo!
Community College, New Jersey at 31.187. And Bowling Green State University, Ohio.
Another Ohioan.
I
and
know,
she's one of our
31.45. It's crazy.
She's one of our usually loud and proud
Mhm.
Ohioans on Twitter and the interwebs.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then at spot 13, not unlucky, but lucky to
Yeah.
making that top 13. Good Samaritan Hospital School of Medical Laboratory Science in Indiana at 34.29. Then at 14, the Baptist Heme Dream Team, Florida State College at Jacksonville. Little biased, these are my students. So
They're doing great.
very
Yeah.
proud of you guys. Great job at 34.35.
My turn.
Keeping Florida pretty high. And then go ahead, Tiffany. Coach
Okay.
Gill, put me in, coach.
It's like one
On to
of
the
our
diff field.
own, George Washington University, making it into the top 15. We're
You did.
rounding out the 15, and that's awesome. Continue to do great. We're so proud of you. They've got 34.42 seconds. And then we got Vermont coming in. Do you want to jump back or can I continue?
Keep on going, coach.
Okay,
Keep them
I'm
going.
excited. All right, so Vermont is coming in with 37 seconds. Woo! I cannot believe it. I mean, it's 37, but it's seconds. You know, there's no decimal. They hit it right on the money. They're very precise and accurate. So they're followed by Georgia State University, which is tailed by 0.1 seconds. Not even that, actually. We've got Old Dominion University from Virginia. Woo, woo. All right. So then we've got Ferris State University in Michigan, following it up with 41.2. Guthrie RPH Medical Lab Science Program in PA is dropping it with 44.75 seconds. Columbia State Community College in Tennessee is coming in and rounding out that Mid-Atlantic / South, coming in there with 45.61 seconds. Pierpont Community and Technical College, that West Virginia heat, is coming in with 47.78 seconds. So they are chasing their competitors and previous Cell Bowl winners from last year. Western Piedmont Community College in North Carolina is coming in at 49 seconds, just under that 50 mark. And then they're followed by Virginia Commonwealth University. Woo, woo. Okay, go VCU, make us proud. 49 seconds. Then we've got AHN St. Vincent School of Medical Laboratory Science in the PA area again. So Pennsylvania coming in at 49 seconds and 75 milliseconds. Can we say that?
Yes, with the Cell Bowl, yes, you can.
Oh yeah. And then we've got New York being representative. Sue would be so proud. Upstate Medical University with 53 seconds, still doing amazing work. Akron Cooperative Medical Laboratory Science Program from Ohio. Yeah, we still have Ohioans coming down there.
The Ohio team.
They are spread throughout, mostly at the top. It's crazy. All right. And then Bristol Community College is coming in from Massachusetts, and they are not going down without a fight with 54.43 seconds. Wayne State University from Michigan is following behind them, waving at them as they're saying, we're coming for you, with 57 seconds. UPMC Williamsport MLS program in Pennsylvania. Again, Pennsylvania is doing awesome this year and very well represented with just under 60 seconds. Now we are hitting those non-perfect scorers, which are super incredible, and we have a league of our own.
Spectacular and amazing.
Yes. So we've got
Golfing the
Radford-
competition still.
Radford University, Carolinian. I can never say that right. So Caroline. There we go. Virginia is at just over that perfect mark. So they had a 29 and we're following them with another 28. So we have been sticking at the 28 for these last couple of weeks, and we are just hanging with them and enjoying the crowd. Baptist South School of Medical Laboratory Science in Alabama. And it always throws me every time I see them because I think it's your team. And then I see they're from Alabama and I'm like, Baptist is everywhere.
Yes, they are. We're lab sciencing everywhere.
Yes, they are. And they are tied in 34th place with Southeastern Community College in North Carolina and my Maryland State partners, Morgan State. They're all hanging in there. And we are all enjoying the pool together. All right. Pool RBCs. Little blood banking humor. Come on, people.
Oh gosh, you're auto agglutinating again. I know it's getting cold.
IGMs. All right, so we're
IgG.
followed with some more from the Delmarva area. Delaware Technical Community College from Delaware is hanging in there with 65 seconds. Northwest Florida, how about you take them, Aaron, and round us out?
Okay, Northwest Florida, represent our state at 66. And then not far behind is Penn State University with the 69. And then at the tail end of the pack are our teams that just had to either drop out or did not submit this week. We're all proud of them as well for participating throughout the season.
Absolutely. And this is not the average score. This was the 4th week score. All right. So what's important about the 4th week is that we have the knowledge now of who will be going into the playoffs. But
the
before
final cell countdown,
I can't stand it. But we're all gonna have to wait a couple of minutes because we're gonna talk about this week still. I love putting the tension in there.
I need to know. I need to know.
So we've got the top score, the best score out of the West is right sandwiched in between the 5th and 6th place of the Midwest, and the top score of the Midwest is right in 3rd place of the East. So this is how we're stacking up nationally. It's incredible. And you know what?
Yeah.
None of these scores are bad at all. I mean, we don't see any terribleness at all. This is amazing. And then, so who is our touchdown for the week? Kathryn, can you see them?
I can. University of Connecticut, 22.18 seconds.
Get it? UConn.
UConn.
I was trying to drop a joke. I wasn't sure. Okay. So
it's okay, coach. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. Touchdown.
Yeah, you had a rough morning run. The morning run was tough.
Yeah. All those pads were crowding me in. So University of Connecticut, we had a beautiful score of 22.18 seconds. I can't even imagine.
No, I didn't think it was humanly possible.
I didn't either. And I'm surprised that the phone can even follow you with how fast that is.
That fast, yeah.
So how does
smartphone.
this fit in with our actual national stats? Well, I will tell you.
Oh gosh, you keep building up the suspense.
I know, and I've got a lot of things I'm trying to move so the recording isn't blocked. This is insane. All right, so in the Midwest, Kathryn, would you like to go through who's at the top?
Absolutely.
These are the average scores, the 4-week scores. So this is showing us who is moving forward. Go ahead.
So at the top of the Midwest, Montana State University coming in with a 4-week average of 28.03 seconds.
Those crystals are beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, they are.
Less than a second behind them is
Little
Southeast
gout.
Community College from Nebraska, 28.1425 seconds. That
Dang.
is super impressive.
Oh,
Rounding out the top three in
wow.
Northern Illinois of 32.4375 seconds.
That's crazy.
That's absolutely insane.
So that's our top three in the
Mhm.
Midwest. So who goes to the playoffs are just the top two. The reason we put this in here was to show you how close it was for these other teams to just miss the playoffs. But we are extremely proud of you. So we want to spend time on that. So way to
Amazing
go.
job.
North
Mhm.
Illinois University and Houston Methodist, you all, and Loyola, you all were so close. That top five
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
so insanely tight. And Northwest Wisconsin was in the playoff, or Northeast, sorry, Wisconsin was in the playoffs last year, right?
I think it was Northwest. I
Is
think
it
Northwest
Northwest?
actually was in.
They even play. I don't think they
I
did.
don't think they played this year.
Yeah. So I think that's why I said Northwest, because I was so used to having them in there. But yeah, they were so close to repeating last year's intense battle
Mhm.
in the playoffs. So we're so proud of you. Way to go, Midwest. All
Yeah.
right.
Amazing
Round of
job.
applause for you
Amazing
all.
job.
All right, we're heading down to the West, okay? And in the West, California is just taking the leaderboard over in the West. They're a big state, they've got a lot of programs out there too. So who's making it to the playoffs, Aaron?
Well, first in the West is California State University, Los Angeles at a weekly average over 4 weeks of competition of 36.955,
What?
which
Mhm.
is insane. And then trailing right behind them, University of California Irvine CLS training program at a 4-week average of 37.3625.
It's not even a second difference.
No,
No.
just for these two to make it. And then right behind them, still with amazing times, Eisenhower Medical Center with 47.05, and then California State, Dominguez. And so proud of the other teams in this group. Amazing job.
Way
Good
to
job,
go,
Vitamin
Wes.
AK and Heritage. Yeah, amazing job, guys.
You all were extremely close to each other and put up a really great fight this year.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see who's going from the East. Our faces are on top of them. Look at this. UConn really could.
Yeah.
I think they UConn.
Oh man. So this is their first time in the competition at all. And it's a blaze of glory. They have just lit up the field. All of the smoke just coming from their cell phones was just making it so we didn't even see them coming, and then they hit hard, right?
All those
So
amazing counts. Yeah.
yeah, they had 25.43 seconds as their average of an entire month of play. I
That's
can't even believe
amazing.
that. That seems like an amazing 1 week time.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
luck
goodness,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh, and that's all 4 weeks. That's
yeah,
insane.
they're dipping strong the whole season.
They are.
Mhm.
And rouloing right under them is
Mhm.
University of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Right on target.
Yeah, right on target. With 26.9 seconds. This is crazy. And just missing the playoffs is our Super Cell Bowl
Our
winner.
champs, yeah.
And it was, look how tight that was. It
Yeah.
was less than a second. And
Yeah.
it's like 0.1 seconds. That's insane. I'm sorry that you all didn't make it. You all worked so hard too. But University in Cincinnati and University of Connecticut just illuminated the field with their amazing plays, and
Mhm.
you all did too. So we are so proud of everyone here.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna scroll down. Bowling Green almost made it too. They were going really strong for
Yeah.
a long time as well. And
Great.
then Mercer. So you all were fighting with us last year. You all made it into the top 10, and we're so proud of you. So we're living through you. I'm constantly like in battle with Lisa Shea. And then Delmarva's being represented. Old Dominion University was doing amazing for us. All of these wonderful programs. So you should be able to see all the Midwest and the West and the East Coast as I'm going down. I think our faces were over the others, but it was so tight.
Amazing job.
So tight. And we get all the way down to I was in 32, my team was in 32. So proud of them. You all did amazing. Thank you for participating. So happy you continued. We had sickness and my concussion and everything. We had a lot playing against us, but through sickness and health, we made it to the Cell Bowl field.
It was a rough season of
It
just
was.
dipping.
It was.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of
Strong
people
finish.
were experiencing the same kind of thing. And that's why we had some pull outs. It's been a little bit of a rough year, but thank you all for really, holding in and hanging on. So can we get a round of applause for the East Coast as well?
Yes.
Thank you for playing, and
Great job.
congratulations to the top 2 going in.
And
All right, so let's get some animations in there. So let's see our prize winners for this week. All right, so I have my lovely Cell Bowl hero, or not Cell Bowl, what am I thinking?
Hematology.
Yeah. It's right in front of Cell Bowl. The hematology hero, wonderful double-walled drink, and it really does, it holds your stuff warm or cold for a long time, just as I do with this one too. This one's a little bit bigger. It has a straw, but who's winning? We don't know yet because I don't have it up yet. But CellAVision has contributed some prizes as well, so we're handing out a lunchbox. You keep seeing that in our congratulations. In our videos, and we've got the CellAVision wonderful backpack as well. It's a High Sierra backpack, very high quality. And then, come on, animation. These are the individuals that won. Yeah. So we have Alex Flynn in Maryland. You are our hematology hero this week. Our CellAVision food container winner is going to be Makala Prince in Tennessee. So you bring the snacks to all the Cell Bowl parties. So you are the person to love. And then we've got Callie Gappa in where? Wisconsin. And she can go on some trails or to the beach or to class with this wonderful CellAVision backpack. So congratulations to our perfect score international winners here. We only had USA participants this year, which brings up a question. So we are considering on how to make the Cell Bowl bigger and better and more engaging with the community for next year. So if you all can please go on Twitter or LinkedIn and answer the poll. I'm also going to be sending out the student feedback and faculty feedback surveys shortly about what you would like to see. But one of the questions is going to ask you, would you like to have a fantasy Cell Bowl league happening next year? So what would that entail? Well, it would mean that anyone who isn't a student, so faculty and executives of your institutions and community partners and all these different people could rally around you all as a team and make their bracket to include their favorite teams and the teams that they're supporting. And they would then win prizes as well. So Aaron and I were talking about that the other day. We don't know exactly how this would flesh out, but we would love to hear your feedback if you find that that would be a fun situation. So I shared it on Twitter. We have some feedback already, and so far it's all positive. So I think that, yeah, in the lab, positive's not usually good.
No, it is not.
We're hoping for some positive feedback.
But we need your critical help to
Yes,
keep
turn on
everything
that
exciting.
erythropoietin.
That's
See what I
right.
did there?
Generate those. Yeah.
And we'll get some red blood cells made. All right, so this is gonna be fun too. This is not something we've seen yet. Here are our playoffs. This is our bracket for the playoffs. So we have from the East, we've got joining us from Connecticut. Come on, animation. The Huskies.
UConn.
Woo! All right. And then from University of Cincinnati, Ohio, we have the Bearcats. I would like to see one. I feel like this is a mythological creature that could be kind of scary. So
Well, I'm okay not seeing a Bearcat in person.
I don't know.
Maybe an image.
Is this a
Or
local
at a zoo.
legend? Because if it is, I want to hear the story. Is it like the Yeti or, Bigfoot? I really want to know.
And I want to
Okay.
see it diffing. I want to see it diffing. Yeah.
Who do we have in the Midwest, Kathryn?
We have Montana State Bobcats.
Woo!
And we also have Southeast Community College SCC Storm.
Woo! I don't know what to do.
Regular
with them, 'cause that
cytokine
sounds
storm.
scary. Yeah, all right, and coming in hot from the West, Aaron, who do we have?
Coming in from the West, California State University, LA, the Toros.
I was expecting a bull. So is a hawk also called a toro?
It's to keep you on your toes.
Oh, sorry. And then the excitement of their mascot is amazing.
Not to be forgotten.
They are just celebrating like crazy. Who do we have here, Aaron?
The University of California Irvine CLS training program, the Anteaters.
That's right.
Gobbling and golfing the competition.
All right, don't get tongue whiplash from them.
No. They're segmented pretty well, so that's good.
Absolutely.
There's 6 of them.
Their team is looking outrageously awesome. All right, so here we've got week 4's total national stats. We are not broken up by regions anymore here. So let's take a look at our top scorers. All right, so number 1 in the nation out of 4 weeks is University of Connecticut for the first time ever, UConn, the Huskies. All right, so they may be leading now, but when we move into the playoffs, it's a fresh slate. These times don't matter anymore.
It's anybody's complete blood count.
Game.
Yeah.
So following and trailing as the second in the nation for the 4 weeks is University of Cincinnati, the Bearcats. Number 3, Aaron, who do we have?
Our reigning Cell Bowl champs for a little while longer, Southern Western Virginia Community and Technical College.
Very good.
27.04.
And their time would have moved them into the playoffs, but that's not how the rules work, right? We're doing the top 2 of each region. So look how
Cell Bowl.
Oh, they would have been amazing. Great job. All right, Kathryn, who's number 4 in the nation?
The Montana State University Bobcats, 28.03 seconds.
That's incredible.
And again, less than a second behind Southeast
Yes.
Community College, 28.14. That is crazy how close these programs are.
Yep.
Yeah. And Hillsborough is jumping in. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
Then finishing number 6 in the nation is Hillsborough Community College. Amazing job, guys. Amazing job, Trippett. Amazing students.
Go Hawks.
Go
Right.
Hawks. Yep.
And then Ohio was not to be left out. They're in lucky number 7, Marion Technical College. They're that fun group that always has new faces, facial expressions on their pictures, and they get right in front of their MLT club board. I love it. All right. And then they had 31.65 seconds. That's still amazing. I don't, you've got 30 cells that you're doing. And this is just a little tiny bit over a second per cell. All right. And number 8, we've got North Carolina. So the Easton is representing pretty hard in the top 10 with AB Technical Community College in North Carolina, the hematology trailblazers, and they definitely are.
Yeah.
All right. Kathryn, who's in number 9?
Northern Illinois University Huskies, 32.4375 seconds.
Yeah. Go Illinois. The other part of the pack jumped to another state. And then Aaron, who do we have rounding out the top 10 for the 4-week average?
Bowling Green State University MLS program, Ohio, with the Fanconi anemia team rocking it out at 34.69575.
It just keeps going.
These are your top 10. Amazing.
So we have 3 Ohioan teams in the top 10 of the 4-week average. So I'm just going to scroll down so you can see the entirety of who was filling out all of these teams. Very great representation of the entire nation. Really well done, everyone. Hey, look who's in 29th.
Woo!
Good job, guys. Good job.
Woo, woo. All right. Keep on going. All these beautiful, perfect scores. Hey, Madison. Yeah,
The
yeah.
Wolfpack.
Woo. Hold on a second. I'm literally putting my dog has been slamming into the back door trying to get us to let her in this whole time.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard her. All right.
no, we haven't.
She was like, why aren't you letting me in? Then, so the top 50 was round out, by Akron Cooperative Medical Laboratory Science Program in Ohio. They are the Lab Rats. And then that's my daughter who's not supposed to be talking. And then we've got the 51st is Indiana University South Bend in Indiana, the Titans of the second half, right? And they're just under 60 seconds. And we're moving on. College of Southern Maryland made it into 57th place. Woo! Thank you. Thank you very much. Go Hawks. So we are with all this wonderful pack down at the back and doing amazing things. Scores are still super great back here.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Got a lot of good cell counts down there. Yeah,
nothing to be worried about here. All these automated diffs are beautiful.
They are.
All right. We've had a lot of web activity from River Valley Community College, MLT's program from New Hampshire. They, I think, are newbies this year as well, and they have been lighting up the web with wonderful, wonderful
amazing job.
engagement. So way to go. We see some wonderful friends down here, and this just rounds us out with some that actually left the
Had to leave the field.
yeah. All right. So halftime is over, and we are so proud of all of you. That was my round of applause for everyone. Yes. Congratulations. Way to go. And I know that we're well into this episode, but this is like the episode, right? Outside
It's
of the
crazy.
Super Cell Bowl, this is the episode. So what happens now? Well, as we said, those top 2 teams of each of those regions are going to now battle it out in the playoffs. And it's going to be anyone's game. And I think it's going to be insane. I really don't know what to expect. I don't have any choice team because I don't know who it's going to be. They're all so close. And I would like to see some great diffing, wonderful passes.
Oh,
And
got a coach.
wonderful leaderboard that will end in the trophy.
Presenting.
Yes. So we're so
Super Bowl.
excited and thrilled. So now it's to the educational program, part of our program.
Education.
Yeah, education. Woo, woo.
Woo,
All right.
woo.
So
Gotta learn.
last time we saw Kathryn Golab on the field, we were talking about granulocytes, and we were talking about normal maturation in adults, healthy adults, and that's what you see. I'm sorry. That's what you see right here.
It is.
So we had some pictures. We did show a picture of AML last year, just to show what an abnormal would look like compared to a normal. And when we talked about the different kinds of conditions, we were talking about how they could be quantitative disorders, which are congenital or acquired, decreased or increased production, and increased destruction could be a reason why you might have a quantitative disorder. And then we had qualitative disorders, which would be functional problems with WBCs, and they may be asymptomatic. This year, we're talking about abnormals, but in order to keep it focused, we're talking about granulocytic disorders that are dealing with basically numbers, and there is a quality issue there as well, because we're really focusing on the bone marrow. Okay, so when you're going around this poster, we're looking at myeloproliferative disorders over here, and we're going to follow it up with acute myelogenous leukemia and Myelodisplastic Syndrome. Kathryn's going to tell you a little bit how those categories have changed with the new WHO designations. But then we're going to follow it up with, what does your peripheral blood smear look like? And that's why we focused on these particular ones, because we're trying to help you to be able to correlate your automated results with what you actually see. So when we look at these types of disorders and leukemias and that sort of thing, when we look at WHO classification, it's different from the FAB classification. So FAB was French, American, British classification, and that was talking about how things look. And with the advent of all of these wonderful technologies that we have, we are no longer going by just how things look. But when you're looking at a peripheral blood smear, it is good to know which ones you can still tell or get a clue about morphology wise and how many are present. So that's why we're focusing on it this way. There are translocations that we're talking about, because these are all genetic mutation related. All right, so I'm just going to take a quick perusal to just kind of really focus your thought process. And then we're going to just have Kathryn talk about these different areas and wonderful wonderful focuses and tidbits that you can use in order to do a really great job while you're on the bench.
Yep.
So over here, we've got the myeloproliferative disorders. So what we're looking at here is the myeloid line. So we're focusing today on the granulocytes. So you're looking at eosinophils, basophils, and neutrophils. Okay. And when we're looking at this particular type of situation, you're looking at the bone marrow, as we said, but there is a genetic abnormality that is being seen. So what I want to show you is that these are all very related, the sections that we're covering, because myeloproliferative disorders can be a chronic type of situation. They're seen in older population of patients. And what can end up happening is, because of treatment for some of these disorders, you may end up seeing, because of chemotherapy, you may end up seeing the Myelodisplastic Syndrome. So here, the atypical CML. And if the condition goes untreated, you might end up turning into an AML. Okay, so that's why we see this here too. Now, all of this is related to the bone marrow, as we said. So there is an overproduction of abnormal cells within the bone marrow that you'll see starts to maybe even push out the progenitor cells or stem cells of the other cell lines. So you may end up seeing cytopenias of other cell lines, and that has a whole huge impact on your clinical presentation. Could be clotting or hemorrhage problems. It could be trouble with your immune system and staying well. So when we look at, so I put that there. When we look at these, you're looking at hypersensitivity or independence of normal cytokine levels through a negative feedback mechanism that's normally done by mature cells. And you're going to see expansion of these cellular abnormalities into the peripheral blood, and you will see that here. There are other, just as a side note, there are other abnormal findings that you may see in granulocytes, but they may not be attributed to necessarily a neoplasm or this type of scenario. We're not covering those this week. Okay, there's so much to cover in this category that I don't think we could spend enough time on it or enough space on the poster. I had a hard time getting it here. So with most of these, you're going to see that you have a problem with tyrosine kinase production and its activity. And what tyrosine kinase does is it's an enzyme. So, hey, we're moving into chemistry, my specialty. So you're seeing this enzyme that is used to add a phosphorus group. So it's called phosphorylation, and they're moving a phosphorus grouping along on the chemical structure of what is involved in these chemical reactions. And why do we care about that? It's because this type of interaction is involved with so many cellular mechanisms that we see these morphologic changes because all of this is influenced by that enzyme or the enzyme's activity. So when you look at the treatment here, most of them are going to be a tyrosine kinase inhibitor. Okay, so you'll see chemotherapy, you'll see stem cell transplants and bone marrow transplants, and that's and blood banking, one of my favorites there too. And when we look at those, you're not looking at what you're used to seeing with the not just the blood type, but you're looking at HLA matching to that's your self or non-self antigens on your different cells, not just your blood cells, right? So those are the things you want to think about. Again, tyrosine kinase deals with cellular metabolism. It deals with cellular maturation. It deals with cellular proliferation, and many, many other processes. And that's why we see the immature cells being seen in the bone, or sorry, not the bone marrow, but in the peripheral blood. We're seeing proliferation of them. That's why they spill out. The maturation is not following normal processes because, again, of this type of issue. So you're going to see asynchrony between the cytoplasm and the nucleus. You know, we're going to investigate those there. And then when we go over to here, remember, these can be because of what we just saw. Okay, so these could be a reaction to what is happening, because in this sense, the genetics of the cells, the mutations are coming from and can come from exposure to these chemicals that can alter the DNA of the cells. Okay, so this you can have myelodysplastic syndromes because of exposure to benzenes, pesticides, insecticides, all of those kinds of things. We're not covering all of those. We're just focusing on the atypical chronic myeloid leukemia because it relates to the abnormality, the mutation that we see all the way over here. And we'll get into those, but this one is saying it's atypical because it's this mutation negative. And then when we look at the cellular representation in the peripheral blood, you're going to notice it's all leukocytosis with a left shift. And you have to then go through and decide, okay, how can we tell that these are different? So molecular gets involved, the pathologist gets involved. You know, it is not just your hematology bench at that point. You might, cyto might be at your hematology bench, not cytopathology. I'm talking about flow. I'm sorry, flow. I don't know why I said that. I'm starting to go a little crazy.
It's a cytology, it's flow cytology. It's just not cytopathology. So
Yes,
it's very similar. So
thank you for helping me feel better.
You're good. You're good.
Flow cytometry was what I was trying to say, but I said cytology, so I apologize. But yeah, so we're going to go through these different mutations, and I do have a celebrity sighting on our poster today, so you can see the references also. Yeah, so one thing before we get into this is we engage on Twitter. As we were talking about before, we do tutorials. We have students do tutorials to help engage with the public, but also leading professionals in the field and other parts of medicine. So we engage with physicians, not just pathologists. We engage with nurses and pharmacists and all that, because we all work together and we all affect one another. So here we have something I felt was relevant for today, and we were going to talk about anyway. So I was perusing on Twitter. I'm like, I'm going to snag that. So Dr. Julie Felstein, she posts a lot of pictures of different types of abnormal situations, and somebody that you might recognize did answer the call to what exactly is going on.
Who could it be?
And what could it be? So we will get into this. Beautiful, beautiful Kathryn Golab, who is here with us today. And this is actually why I wanted her to come back, because we were going to talk about this one. And I'm like, whoa, what a coincidence. So Kathryn, if you would like to take it from here, I can go back up to the top here, and I will just move the slide for you, and you can take it. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, it sounds great. I love being here. I love talking about, hematologic disorders, because that's an area that I find very interesting. WHO is really great for, how things have advanced and how we have new treatment modalities for treating patients with hematologic disorders. Because as we've researched and as MedLab lady Gill has stated, there are all these new, mutations that we're discovering, like, the Philadelphia chromosome translocation with BCR-ABL. That is a tyrosine kinase. We have found drugs that will prevent tyrosine kinases, gone rogue and start proliferating uncontrollably to stop. So that's now making a huge difference in how we treat our patients. So the WHO is primarily focusing a little bit more on the treatment side of things and how we affect treating our patients, which is what we want to focus on when we make a diagnosis. The FAB, which I still teach, and actually, if you look at the WHO category, the FAB is still technically a category. It's just AMLs or MDS is not otherwise specified. It's just without a mutation, because morphologically, that's what we see. We look at it, and based off of what we see, there it is. So I'll jump right down actually into CML right away. The most common genetic mutation for CMLs is going to be that BCR-ABL fusion. BCR-ABL is the translocation at 922 on your two different chromosomes. So BCR from chromosome 9 binds to ABL1 and creates this fusion protein. Starts your JAK-STAT pathway, just all crazy. It just keeps going. It's constantly activated, which again causes increased proliferation of cells because there's no off switch. And tyrosine kinases also inhibit apoptosis. They want cells to mature all the way. So it's turning off that apoptosis mechanism for bad cells. So it's just keeping on going and keeping on pushing out all those bad cells. You can survive with CML for a number of years. It's not like an acute leukemia where if you don't get treated, it's less than a year survival rate. Usually they do recommend some treatments though for CML, because a lot of the symptomatic portion of CML is because of the high white counts that you're experiencing within your blood. When things aren't going right in your bone marrow, other areas of your body start taking over. Your liver and your spleen used to do hematopoiesis way back when you were a fetus. That's how you made your blood cells before you were human, or fully human, essentially, as an adult. I just made her spit out her water over there. But that's, there are other areas in your body that can start taking over when your bone marrow has kind of gone a little crazy. So you'll have hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, and that causes issues in and of itself as well, because when you're an adult, your spleen and your liver technically aren't your primary sites of hematopoiesis. So what they'll do is they'll treat you to get your blood counts down, to get them within, I wouldn't say normal levels, but manageable levels for periods of time, because these cells don't function like they're supposed to. There are problems with them. So you're at a higher risk for, other illnesses and disease. And we want to keep patients as healthy as possible for as long as possible. And then eventually, if it does go untreated, it will eventually morph into an AML. Most commonly, or very rarely, we'll see it transform into an ALL. And treatment for it is going to be, the most common one is imatinib, which is a tyrosine kinase inhibitor. A physician that I work with at the Medical College of Wisconsin, representing, he's doing research actually nowadays for patients who are doing really well on tyrosine kinase inhibitors for long periods of time, stepping them back off the tyrosine kinase inhibitors. It's working, it's successful, it's treated them. Their BCR-ABL mutations are down below detectable levels. Let's walk them back off the drug and see if that they can have better outcomes that way too, and get better quality of life. Because if you're on a chemotherapy drug for long periods of time, it's going to affect you negatively eventually. So he's doing research into that, which I think is very interesting. Chronic neutrophilic leukemia is also a very uncommon type of chronic myeloproliferative neoplasm. And that's just caused by a proliferation of mature neutrophils. that's really difficult to diagnose because, sometimes your bone marrow will, you'll have an infection, your white count will go up, you'll have increased neutrophils. That's common. It's just finding out if that's actually based off of having this mutation or if it's another normal physiologic reaction. So that's where, pathologists and additional, review of patient signs and symptoms comes into play. And that's based off of your hospital's pathology review policy. Our path review policy is very robust. So if we have patients who have really high white counts and it's all neutrophils, that does fall into one of our path review categories to look at and be like, okay, is this reactive and normal based off of a review of the chart? Like, this patient has an infection, these other things are going on, this makes sense, or maybe this doesn't make sense, maybe we need to do a little bit more testing. That all helps cover those problems. If you go back down to the lower left, I do believe we touch on primary myelofibrosis. So this one is very closely related to essential thrombocytosis and polycythemia vera, which I do believe have already been discussed in previous weeks. The most common mutation for this disorder is a JAK2 mutation. It's the V617 mutation, I do believe is the correct one. So that's the one that's most commonly affected in all of these, ET, PV, and PM, as most of us call it. There can be other gene mutations, CalR, MPL. Those are very common in all three of those conditions as well. So those need to be utilized to make that diagnosis based off of bone marrow cellularity and what is the predominant lineage that's having the issue. So that's how you make that diagnosis. It's like, okay, I have a JAK2 mutation, but my most increased cell lineage is erythrocytes. So it's going to be essential polycythemia vera, or maybe it's megakaryocytes. It all depends on that bone marrow proliferation and what you're seeing in the peripheral blood. Again, this is another JAK inhibitor that we treat patients with, ruxolitinib. So usually you can tell what they are. If they have a nib at the end, it's some kind of just generic tyrosine kinase inhibitor. So it'll work for a bunch of things, but it's primarily targeted for this specific condition. If we scroll up to the top, chronic eosinophilic leukemia is also a myeloproliferative disorder. I'm not going to say these acronyms. They're essentially just really long, goofy genetic mutations for abnormal eosinophilia. It's all just letters to most of us. But again, this falls under this all just falls under, having robust pathology review criteria. I can see that a patient has a lot of eosinophils, they have eosinophilia. Why do they have eosinophilia? It could be allergies. We always joked in undergrad, maybe someone has a worm, parasites that causes eosinophilia. Or maybe it's eosinophilic leukemia. You have to do a rule out. So again, testing for these abnormal gene mutations. Our hospital in our cytogenetic department, we have an abnormal eosinophilia panel that covers all of these genes. So they can detect if one of these gene fusions is present. Patients are treated with hydroxyurea. Essentially what that drug is meant to do is it's just meant to drop your white count. That's if you're treating a patient with hydroxyurea, you want to see a drop of about 50% within the first day of treating the patient. So that way, then you're bringing down what's potentially causing them to be symptomatic, which is all those white cells. And if they don't achieve that, usually that evolves into some kind of plex. So leukophoresis procedure. Which is where they're taking all of the bad cells out and putting the rest of your blood back in. So that way, then reducing the symptomatic issues with the disease.
So that would be the same kind of machine that you would be using when you give apheresis for transfusion. So if you're donating platelets or you're donating a double red or any of those types of apheresis donations, sometimes it's also for treatment. So someone who is donating platelets by apheresis might have the need where they have a thrombocytosis that they have to have it or else they're not well. And they're like, well, other people can benefit from my platelets, so let me do that and give it for donation. So I just wanted to throw that in there so students are making these connections. Thank you, Kathryn. You're doing great.
Well, it's the same thing with polycythemia. They
Right.
donate on a regular basis therapeutic phlebotomy.
Mhm.
It doesn't necessarily just have to be a phlebotomy procedure. They can donate blood, and their blood is useful to other patients.
Absolutely.
They'll donate red cells regularly to reduce their own, their own symptoms. And PV and ET and even primary myelofibrosis, depending on how severe primary myelofibrosis is, that, can lead out, a couple of years, but it's usually for PV and ET, it's usually a greater than 10-year survival rate if you're doing, therapeutic phlebotomy. If you're getting treatment with hydroxyurea and you're seeing your hematologist to follow your treatment plans and make sure that you're responding appropriately to your treatment. And as we move over into kind of like AML and myelodysplastic syndrome, we mentioned it before, names change. So myelodysplastic syndrome is the term that I used when I was trained, 6 years ago. They're now changing the naming of the categories. So you have myeloproliferative neoplasms, MPNs, and then you also have myelodysplastic neoplasms. So they're kind of taking the syndrome out and saying myelodysplastic neoplasms. And the big difference between the two of them that I learned earlier this year is whether or not they're cytoses or cytopenias. So myelodysplastic neoplasms are cytopenias because they're issues with the, just functional cells. And then myeloproliferative neoplasms, you just have a lot of them. You have cytoses. There's just a lot of cells. So the naming always changes just to better encompass the group of disorders that are included in it. And acute myelogenous leukemia, the WHO classifications, again, primarily focus on those genetic mutations. The first WHO is AML with recurrent genetic abnormalities. So this is NPM mutations. This is FLT3 mutations. It's PML-RARA. We've associated PML-RARA mutations with APL, which is M3 under the FAB. It just changes just a little bit based off the mutation. But if there's a known recurrent genetic abnormality, they use that in the risk stratification. So if you have a known genetic abnormality, there are potentially known treatments, and it falls into a certain risk stratification for disease and treatment. Which I find very interesting, because now, initially, before we would dive in our pathology reports, because when we get a new AML, when we report out our path report, we look at it so we can potentially keep extra slides to keep for training our new students. We still, again, train based off of the FAB because of what we're seeing with our eyes.
Right.
But now when we do reporting, we say AML, classification requires further genetic studies. And then we add on an addendum if there is genetic abnormalities when we get those back. So that way then the physicians know specifically if there's any gene mutations. So if we have a patient that we're treating with NPM1 mutated cells, we can then on their next subsequent marrows or their next blood draw, we can draw them for an NPM1 mutation. And then we don't have to send out this big whole panel for myeloid malignancy mutations. We just have to send out specifically for that one mutation. I mentioned NPM1, and this is the one that medical lab lady Gill was super excited about last year, so we had to bring it back.
Oh yeah.
Some genetic mutations you can see with your eyes because they have very specific, molecular or morphologic features. And if there's an NPM1 mutation, it creates kind of these little cup-like nucleuses or these cup-like nucleoli where the nucleoli is right on the edge of the nucleus. So I'm not saying this is an NPM1 mutated AML. Dr. Fieldstein,
question.
Yeah, it was a question. Dr. Fieldstein didn't respond to whether or not that's what this was. But when I'm looking at an AML, or if I'm looking at a slide and I see that little cup-like nucleus, I actually tell my pathologist that. I'm like, hey, I'm seeing cup-like nucleuses. And that'll lead them to potentially, when they report it out, hey, I think you should test for NPM1. Because you can see morphologically what that mutation looks like, which I think is very cool. There's some things, like PML rara, that T1517 mutation, we always describe them as like butterfly nucleuses. So the nucleuses are like this, or they're crossed over top of each other, because that's how the bilobe nucleuses in APL look. So we describe that kind of stuff to our pathologists, and it's like, hey, a lot of APLs nowadays are really hypogranular. They're not the big chunky hour rods like we see in the textbooks. It's really microgranular, and they aren't super in your face. But you'll see the nucleus is full of sliding plates. And I tell the pathologist that, or the resident, I'm like, hey, I have sliding plates. And they'll be like, oh yeah, you do. This might be APL. Test for 1517. And we make the recommendations because what we're seeing with our eyes is telling the physician potentially what's going on.
Yeah, that was how we ended up with the conversation we had last year. So last year I said, we were talking about the FAB classification, and I said, it was great because it's everything that you see, but now we're using the WHO and you can't really see all of these, right? And as you said, they're based in the FAB, but then adding on the things that you can't see. So those mutations. But then she said, well, actually, there is one. And I was like, let's talk about it. And then I didn't have a picture of it at the time. So I made a note last year, and I'm like, bring her back. We need to have this conversation because it's a really good one. Our whole thing is what we see. And so it's very important that you all get to know what these look like. So we have peripheral blood looks, type of representation over here. And when we were talking about primary myelofibrosis, fibrosis and ends up eventually happening, and then you see pancytopenia. But you have anemia with teardrop cells and anisocytosis and poikilocytosis, which if you don't remember what those words mean, go back to episode 2. But if you, we're going to take a walk around these pictures. So this was supposed to be our CML.
I completely agree with that, because you see all the different maturation levels in there. Well, we don't necessarily have a blast. We definitely have some metas. We definitely have some myelos. So metas, as we discussed last year, myelos are going to be completely round to maybe a quarter indented. And then a quarter to half indentation is a meta. Anything greater than half indented, while still completely smooth around the edge, is going to be your band. And then any complete is going to be a segmented neutrophil.
You're going so fast, I'm trying to find them.
Yep.
While you're doing it. We don't really have any segmented.
Yeah. We've got some myelos, we have some metas. We don't have any pros. I don't see any that are immature enough that are just primary granules. Anytime you see any pink, it's a myelo. It doesn't matter how much pink. If there's pink, it's a myelo, because pink granules will never appear in the pro-myelocytic stage, because you have to reach myelomaturation to get secondary granules. We also have immature eosinophils in this picture. On the, right there, that's a quote unquote myelo-EO. Do we report myelo-EOs? Depending on your hospital, you might. We don't, but it's noted that there's abnormal myelos present, or maybe there's abnormal basos. We've had some CML patients that are just full of abnormal basos. They're actually really pretty. But that happens. But you see it pretty much every stage of maturation, and CML is characterized by less than 10% blasts. Once you hit 10% blasts, that's into accelerated phase.
Mhm.
It's not blast phase, but it's accelerated phase for CML. So if you're calling over 10% blasts and you think it's a CML, maybe you're miscalos. CMLs look weird. They can be really hypogranular. They're not normal cells. So it's always you want to be careful when doing your differentials, especially with CML type cases, because again, that blast percentage changes treatment. So if all of a sudden we're in accelerated phase of CML, that changes the treatment plan for this patient. Maybe they aren't on just imatinib. Maybe they're on other high dose chemotherapies to try and figure out what's going on in the body before eventually they make it to a transplant. So counting is critical when you're doing your CML cases and making sure that you're counting your blast percentage appropriately.
Very well said. Thank you. And then this one was supposed to be primary myelofibrosis. All right, so you can see all that pancytopenia happening here because the bone marrow is being basically taken over by the abnormal cells and gone so far that at this point we've got scarring essentially, and there's less production, right? So you see this a large platelet here, and then
I was going to say, you got some bizarre platelets in there.
Yeah.
That's kind of hallmark of getting further into primary myelofibrosis. You have some, and they call them this bizarre platelets. That's how they talk about them in the pathology reports.
I called it
bizarre,
wild.
Bizarre platelets. They just look weird. They're not normal. They have abnormal granulation. They likely have abnormal function. So there's all different kinds of problems in there.
Yeah. How bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, my fur baby is talking. So now then we have, I'm trying to remember what these are. So we had toxic granulation here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, toxic granulation can be seen in a lot of things. It's not hallmark to a myeloproliferative or a granulocyte disorder. If you're sick and your neutrophils get kind of activated, they have toxic granulation. They're increasing their they're activating their granules. They're releasing the granules into your peripheral blood, so that way then they can help out treating what's going on inside your body. So toxic granulation isn't necessarily limited to myelodysplastic syndromes, but we can see some abnormal granulation in myelodysplastic neoplasms. So we can see, she mentions under atypical chronic myeloid leukemia, Pelger-Hewitt-like cells or hypogranularity. We see really bad hypogran in some PMFs because, the cells just aren't made normally. So there's no granules in the cells, which makes them really difficult to identify because all you have is a nucleus and cytoplasm. So you have to make your best estimation as to what that cell is, because you're looking with your eyes. You don't know exactly what it is. Bizarre segmentation. So mainly Pelger-Hewitt-like, but Pelger-Hewitt-like is either you can have bilobed nucleuses, or we've had CMLs that have, completely chunky nucleuses, but they're literally round like a myelo. They have normal cytoplasm. They have a bunch of pink granules, but the nucleus is completely round and it's chunky. And so you're just like, okay, what could this be now? So you have to use those critical thinking skills in determining, okay, this is what my cytoplasm looks like. This is the size of my cell. This is what my nucleus and my chromatin pattern looks like. So you can appropriately identify that cell.
So I think this one was what you were just talking about too, the atypical CML. At least I think that's what it was. I was looking at this part here.
Mm-hmm. It looks kind of like eosinophilia because of the way how pink those granules are.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. The stain is a little pink in and of itself.
Yeah.
So those might be neutrophils as well. I'm not 100% certain.
I forget the website. I have it listed here. But yeah, the stain was a bit different and I'm like, well, but it was really the only one I could find of it. So that was what that one was supposed to be. And then we had talked about your cups.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So here are all of the references. Did you have anything more you wanted to say?
No, I think this is this is a really great overview of a bunch of different types of granulocytic disorders. Obviously, we're just scratching the surface. We're
Oh, yeah.
touching some really high level
Yeah.
stuff. There's so many different subcategories of granulocyte disorders that, you have to know some of your specifics about, the WHO for your test. We didn't go into specifically what that is. We just don't have the time. When I teach students for AMLs, I take a full day to go through the WHO. Now, granted, a full day for me is teaching them for an hour, but I take a full hour to go through the WHO so that way then they understand completely how we break it down and why we break it down that way. Especially for myeloproliferative neoplasms, MPN and MDS is really complicated and difficult to break down because some of the categories are like, okay, I have less than 5% peripherally for blasts, but I also have less than 15% in the bone marrow. And it's very specific about how it breaks it down. So we're definitely very high level with this, but it gives you a really great overview of different categories and types of myeloproliferative disorders.
So for anyone who doesn't remember what dysplasia means, it means that you have abnormal cells in the tissues, okay? And the tissue we're talking about would be the bone marrow, right? So that's how come all of these technically are connected, is because this can precede a neoplasm or this could be after chemotherapy. This is a more robust acute AML or ALL. Anything that's acute is a more robust situation or pathology of what could have been a chronic situation beforehand, but the treatment didn't work or there was more progression. And so acute, as we always like to talk about, acute is a really fast-paced and very hardcore type of pathology, whereas chronic is still not good, but it's over a span of time, and it may not be caught for a while either too. So
and I'll touch on this because you keep mentioning, previous chemotherapies. You can get MDS and AML from previous chemotherapies. They're called neoplasias. And that is its own WHO category, is, therapy-related MDS or AML. Because WHO doesn't have enough categories.
No.
But
it could be a book.
it is a book. But they talk about it's its own separate category because actually those end up becoming a little harder to treat. They're not what we call de novo or from just its own mutation, de novo AML. They haven't had any prior chemotherapies. So chemotherapy or a cytotoxic treatment wasn't started before this happened. So that's not why it started. It just kind of came about from its own, but it's a therapy related neoplasia. When you've had prior chemotherapy, or we have one that happened for a patient. They had a kidney transplant, and they had a thiopurine, which is a cytotoxic drug, because of their kidney transplant. And that unfortunately led to them developing AML because they'd been on that drug for so long and eventually mutated one of their cells. So those are traditionally more aggressive and harder to treat because it is a more complex condition.
Yeah. Well, I said it could be a book because they, students are so used to seeing their textbook. It's covered in a couple of chapters and then that's it. But more detail that you don't get. It does. It's so expansive. So we're so happy you're here and explaining all of these. So very well done. I'm going to go to the next one unless there was anything else you wanted to say. Excellent. Okay. So the week 4 was Halloween week. We did a Halloween episode. It was for week 3 because we kind of took off a week of filming, but I just wanted to look around at all of these wonderful parties. And the little pumpkins, do you see that they put the cells on the pumpkins?
Yep.
They're so adorable.
So yes, selfie pumpkins. And then we had some really great professional quality pictures. If you saw the rest of this just looked like some kind of poster for come work at our facility.
We're amazing.
It's a beautiful building. It's all glass in the background, but I just wanted to
Wow.
focus in on the team. So it was a gorgeous picture, everybody. But there were so many pictures. I have to cut parts out to make sure that everything fits. So we have some very enthusiastic teams here. I really love the craziness in this picture as well. And then we have the 101 Dalmatians
Oh,
with the dog catcher and Cruella de Vil here. And we had Miss Frizzle rounding out this team's party with some other really great characters and costumes. And
oh, I'm loving those lab
sitting on
coats
the
too.
table. She's like taking over the table. I didn't notice that before. She's like sprawling across. That's fun. I don't know what that is, but it might be something I'm not familiar with. Aaron, do you know what that is?
It's supposed to be Trichomonas.
This?
So I think her shirt says Trichomonas on it.
Oh,
so I'm
not this.
thinking,
The guy behind her or the person.
oh, the guy behind her.
Person. We don't know. There's a
Maybe
hood and a mask and
it could be a tick.
It might be a Pokemon, but I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Pokemon.
yeah, I'm not sure. I was thinking something like anime or something.
It's got the head piece and then the
Yeah, well,
some sort of arthropod.
something.
Pokemon are real.
And then I loved their lab coats. So all the tie-dye, I love tie-dye. So I'm really into your lab coats. And they were in micro, Aaron.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
tie-dye too.
Yeah. Then we've got another beautiful mural with wonderful, beautiful faces in front. And this, I think, is Southeast or something. I never write down who's from where because it's just so much. But look at all these amazing white screens, like mostly white screens. That means very short period of time of a perfect score. So well done. And then UConn, this was their team picture, so that's why I know that one. And then these guys were working on hemoglobin electrophoresis. And so that's what was happening there. They had some other pictures, but like I said, there's too many pictures. Here's my team, cell bowling. And then we've got Aaron, I thought you'd get a kick out of this one.
I was about to say there's a celebrity sighting in this one.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, so that's throughout the whole episode. We've got some celebrity sightings, but they're watching us. We're watching them watching us.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's the madness. So this was episode 2 when we had Ashley on. So they're learning about RVCs and abnormalities in the RVCs. And I'm hoping that this is enjoyment and intense focus and not bored faces.
Learning, lots of good information.
Yeah, lots of good information. I know that I have a mean face when I'm really thinking hard. I've been told and I've seen it, and I try not to have that in the episode because it does look mean. So congratulations to everybody and everyone who's continuing on into the playoffs. This is the end of the last episode with all of our teams. And from now on, we're going to be in the playoffs, the semifinals, and then the Super Cell Bowl So we're looking forward. Yeah, it's almost over. And I don't know what to say about that.
It's crazy to think that it's the second one, because it feels like just yesterday I filmed the first year with you guys.
It was fun.
It's absolutely amazing.
And then I got to meet you both in person for the first time ever at the beginning of September.
Yeah.
And I felt like we had worked together all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I see you guys all the time. I see you every couple months.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're so happy you came back. Thank you all for participating and having a great time with us, even up to this point. And you know, the halftime show was last week with Halloween, and we were crazy.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to look out for those surveys so you can tell us what you would like to see, what you enjoyed, what we could improve on. And we'll see everybody in the playoffs. And, you know, it's getting real. It's almost trophy time. Oh my goodness.
Trophy time.
All right. So congratulations. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the Cell Bowl or any of the other instructional videos, and get some lab swag so you can party with us and join the team. All right. Thank you all. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye guys.